Good morning, it's Mrs. DePina, and welcome back to Humanities. I had so much fun reading that book with you yesterday that I'm excited about reading a new book with you today. Okay, before we read this new book, let's go over some things that we learned yesterday. So yesterday we learned that books have parts, okay? So all books have a title, a front cover. So if this is the front cover, then what do you think this is? Yes, the back cover. Nice. Okay. We also learned that good readers think about the title and look at the illustrations to help them figure out what the book might be about. So let's go ahead and read the title and see if we can figure out what this book might be about. First Day Jitters. Okay. Now, jitters is a tricky word, and it just means feeling nervous. Okay. When you're nervous, you're a little bit scared because you don't know what's going to happen. So when you have the jitters, you're nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay, now let's zoom in on the illustrations. Okay, I see someone in bed with the covers almost all the way up to their face. And then if you zoom in a little closer, what is that? Yes, that's a school bus. So if this is a school bus, what do you think that building is? Yes, it's a school. So are you ready to make that prediction? First day jitters. Someone is nervous about the first day of school. So that's our prediction. And now we're going to read to find out if our prediction was correct. Here we go. First day jitters. Sarah dear, time to get out of bed, Mr. Hartwell said, poking his head through the bedroom doorway. You don't want to miss the first day of your new school, do you? I'm not going, said Sarah, and pulled the covers over her head. Of course you're going, honey, said Mr. Hartwell, as he walked over to the window and snapped up the shade. So he opened up the shade on her. No, I'm not. I don't want to start over again. I hate my new school, said Sarah. She tunneled down to the end of her bed. So she went through her covers all the way to the end of her bed. How can you hate your new school, sweetheart? Mr. Hartwood chuckled. You've never been there before. Don't worry, you liked your other school. You'll like this one. Besides, just think of all the new friends you'll meet. That's just it. I don't know anybody, and it will be hard, and I just hate it, that's all. What will everyone think if you aren't there? We told them you were coming. They will think that I'm lucky, and they will wish that they were at home in bed like me. Mr. Hartwell sighed. Sarah Jane Hartwell, I'm not playing the silly game 1 second longer. I will see you downstairs in 5 minutes. Sarah tumbled out of bed. She stumbled into the bathroom. She fumbled into her clothes. My head hurts, she moaned as she trudged into the kitchen. And trudge means when you walk really slowly and you make your steps really heavy. Mr. Hartwell handed Sarah a piece of toast and her lunchbox. They walked to the car. Sarah's hands were cold and clammy just means that your hands are really sweaty. They drove down the street. She couldn't breathe. Sounds like she's getting really, really nervous. And then they were there. I feel sick, said Sarah weakly. Nonsense, said Mr. Hartwell. You'll love your new school once you get started. Oh, look, there's your principal, Mrs. Barton. Sarah slumped down in her seat. "Oh, Sarah," Mrs. Barton gushed, peeking into the car. "There you are. Come on, I'll show you where to go." Well, it sounds like Mrs. Barton's excited to see Sarah. Sarah doesn't look like or sound like she's very excited to see Mrs. Barton. She led Sarah into the building and walked quickly through the crowded hallways. "Don't worry, everyone's nervous the first day," she said over her shoulder as Sarah rushed to keep up. When they got to the classroom, most of the children were already in their seats. The class looked up as Mrs. Burton cleared her throat. "Class, class, attention please," said Mrs. Burton. When the class was quiet, she led Sarah to the front of the room and said, "Class, I'd like you to meet your new teacher, Mrs. Sarah Jane Hartwell." So what a surprise! The person that was nervous was the teacher. So was our prediction correct that this book was about someone being nervous on the first day of school? Yeah, our prediction was correct. And we got a lovely surprise at the end. It wasn't a scholar, it was actually a teacher that was nervous. So that goes to show you that adults can be nervous too. I was very nervous the night before kindergarten because I wanted to make sure that I had everything ready and that my scholars were going to come to Zoom and go into the right groups. And Miss Palmieri was nervous too, and Miss Stanford was nervous too, okay? But that was yesterday, before we started kindergarten. Now we've had one day in kindergarten, and I'm not nervous anymore. I'm excited because you all made it to Zoom. And when I talked to Miss Palmieri and Miss Stanford, they were excited too because everyone made it to the right place. And we had a really fun time in kindergarten. So now I want you to think, okay? I don't want you to think about the night before. I want you to think about the day you had in kindergarten. So how did you feel? How do you feel now that you've been to kindergarten for a whole day, okay? You're gonna put those thoughts in your brain and then you're going to share it with your teacher during your crew time. You're gonna share it with your teacher and your friends, just like you did today during crew, okay? I've had a wonderful time talking to you, excited to see which book we read next. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will read to you tomorrow. Bye.